So, hello everybody. I'm Erasmia, most of you know me. I'm welcoming also all the online friends, participants, all those on YouTube. So, I hope you're enjoying this event. And let's talk about hunting, where some of us went to Olympus Mountain. And do you know that we have a god for hunt? It is Artemis. That's why this panel is a female panel. So we will talk about a project that I'm in love with. It's Fake News Hunters. I'm very devoted to that project. We ran it for a year and more. And it is an innovative project because we participate from different countries. We started Greece and Romania. Diana Filimon is here next to me from Romania. She's an activist. She's a DCN Global member, and she is the president of Forum Apulum. And DCN Global has the potential to unite countries and to do such projects that different people from different countries with different subjects can do a very professional and scientific job and research. So we will present you our job. Diana, I give you the floor.
Hi everyone. Basically what we try to do with this project is that we started in March last year, immediately after the lockdown, the initial lockdown, and we started seeing how the fake news around us and the misinformation was shape-shifting. It was becoming very organic. You could see how it takes different forms. And we wanted to understand because we felt that this is the beginning of a new stage in misinformation and disinformation. And we wanted to document the process of what was happening. So basically, we thought in Romania, together with our colleagues from Greece, to start monitoring everything that happens online and identify the main topics. And besides that, we just wanted to see the common tie between all of them, because there was a synchronicity between the countries, between certain topics. They were not just organic, they were pushed in some countries in a way that would press certain buttons, key buttons, and then they would adapt organically to the already prepared environment of misinformation and disinformation. So this is what we prepared. Basically, we set up teams of volunteers in Romania and Greece, made up of high school students and university students. Part of the team is here in the back from Romania, who manually, because we didn't find another way until now to beat the system. We manually identified the posts and identified the topics, the common topics and the most important topics for Romania and Greece. And then we extended the project to Georgia and Italy. It was very funny to see similar topics pushed at the same time in all the countries, like an artificial hand that would press certain buttons. And at the same time to see how a certain topic would adapt with slight nuances to each country. For example, we had, right in the beginning of the pandemic, we had the topic of who is bringing the virus in the country. In Romania, the topic was Romanians coming from abroad. In Greece was immigrants coming from abroad. But you just switched a few words, but the narrative was the same. So that was very interesting. And the same, we talked with friends from Ukraine. Also, it was something with the forest. There were a lot of similarities, like being pushed by a certain agenda, but at the same time by someone who knows very well what's important in each of these countries, because they know exactly what hurts in each country in order to adapt it. Yeah.
So we have our online colleagues, teammates from Fake News Hunters. So can we see the online speakers? So let me introduce you to Tiko Tsomaia from Georgia. I'm very glad to see you, Tiko. Tiko is a professor of journalism and communication at the Georgian Institute of Public Affairs. And from Italy, Irene Delfanti. She is a transition designer. And Tiko, would you excuse me because Irene has to catch a flight, so I'll give the floor first to Irene. Irene, do you hear you? Can you present or introduce yourself, please? Just unmute yourself.
Second.
Now we hear you. Very nice and clear. Irene.
So I'm Irene Delfanti. I'm a transition designer. Sorry, my audio is not working very well. I'm traveling at the moment. So as everyone else mentioned, fake news hunters has many districts, let's say, are part of the fake news hunters Italy. We started a collaboration in autumn last year, and we keep monitoring. So what our findings kind of realized is that what fake news hunters is creating by analyzing the narrative rather than trying to necessarily debunking the fake news is that as the mutual effect of creating a tool for other practices, for example, design in my case, that relies on quantitative data that people gather, that then becomes qualitative data for research that we can confront ourselves with. And then also he highlights the relationship between major events, politically or socially or environmentally, and how these waves of fake news move throughout Europe, or specifically the country, of course. So, for example, in Italy, we had an interesting case that we started to follow in January, February, because this profile is a philosopher, is a tutor in a university, but also he somehow uses his media attention to perpetuate fake news in the sense that conspiracy theories especially, but of course his arguments are very difficult to debunk because of how literate it is. And also sometimes, because he is an intellectual, his opinion is actually valuable. And while we were analyzing him, we started to feel that the line between debunking and censorship was becoming too strong. And it was interesting to see this actually happening in TV, in the main channel in Italy, where actually his microphone was turned off online while giving a speech. And now his profile is off as well. So I think what fake news hunters can bring is really like a way for people to understand the empathy behind fake news. So rather than maybe targeting the last person that shared the news, your neighbor, understanding what's the micro dynamic behind it. So then other communication systems, for example, communication designer, like in my case, can create mitigation strategy to kind of create a more resilient media. Also, fake news answer definitely has the potential and the need to grow. And of course, if anyone else from Europe wants to join, that also would be very interesting if the thing could happen worldwide. So please feel free to either ask DCN or members of the team. I think some people from Greece and Italy are in the room at the moment, so then we could expand. Thank you very much, and thank you to all your organizers.
Thank you very much, Irene. And now I'll pass the floor to Tiko Tsomaia from Georgia.
Thank you, Erasmia. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be part of this wonderful forum. Although I'm participating from a distance. I was not able to travel to Greece because Georgia is in the red zone because of the COVID pandemic, right? And so now, as we see, our countries and people, the whole planet is divided by these colors, right? The red zone, orange zone, green zone, whatever. But anyways, I mean, it's so great that, you know, we have an opportunity because of this technology to contribute and participate in this dialogue, and congratulations with a great forum and great event. I was closely following almost everything. So actually, you know, let me just recall how I joined this project, this wonderful collaborative project. Actually, I, you know, hunting on fake started from my side, from looking for the truth, because, you know, it was a COVID pandemic, there was, I mean, Easter was coming, and I was interested, you know, and there were a big, huge outcry, public outcry. What should we do? Should people go to the church? Should they wear masks? You know, all this information was very new and you know, confusing. And I tried to reach my friend Nikos because of the similarities, right? I mean, in Greece, they also, Greece is also a Orthodox Christian country. And, you know, then we started, then Nikos has offered me to become part of this collaboration together with Romanian partners, which was also very interesting for me because of the certain similarities, right? And we started looking for these different you know, different profiles on social media that I won't be able, or I won't be happy to follow at all, because, you know, these were people who were spreading lies, right? So we became a fake hunters. So when I say we, it's this, I mean, this is a team of students and researchers from Georgia, from Georgian Institute of Public Affairs and Baltic to Black Sea Alliance Georgia. So we combined our efforts, and you know, we were very happy to see how well established criteria and you know, research design was already developed by our partners. And because we wanted to do something very important, and because we wanted to understand, you know, what is the truth, okay? What is the truthful information that is useful for us? We started actually tracking the fake and hunting on that. I don't know whether I would be able to, you know, share my slides, but actually, you know, let me tell you a little bit about what were the outcomes of this analysis and monitoring. So actually, we joined the group from the third month. And then since, I mean, it's almost like 6 or 7 for starting from October 2020 till May 2021, we were monitoring the social media, right? And what is interesting is that, you know, besides all the restrictions, and besides, you know, Facebook is also hunting on the fake distributors. So these people who we would monitor during this process, they are still alive. They survived all this, you know, hunting, and they distribute their lies to the public. They still spread their lies, and they became even more aggressive, more active, and more skillful, I would say. You know, if you look into what kind of messages they are spreading, and you know, also the ways how they are spreading it, you know, they became skillful. Okay, that's an interesting observation, I guess.
Tiko, you are muted.
Right? So, yeah. I'm sorry?
No, it's okay. Now we can hear you. We could not hear you. So if you are able to share your screen, that will be fine. If you can share your screen. And you have some slides to show.
Okay. Yeah, I see. Okay. This way? Now you see it?
Yes.
Did you see it?
Yes, we can see it.
Nice.
But
okay.
we have to be a little bit shorter, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I will just very shortly just tell you what the main highlights, right? So they survived, that's one thing. So the time element, right? Because, they try to figure out the themes and topics that are relevant to the particular episode and time, and they try to be actual. Okay, so for example, if there is a vaccination, if vaccination has started in Georgia, they will start. The whole news feed would be about how. What a killer vaccine is AstraZeneca, for example, right? But of course, they exploit different vulnerabilities, such as economic situation, painful social issues, this conservatism, traditionalism, nationalism. Okay, sometimes they bring also far-right activists narratives, not sometimes, but very often. Another very important thing is that, besides these vulnerabilities that were country-specific, of course, we had the global topics such as, pandemic is not real, it's completely made up by the media, and it's pandemic is made for establishing new order and control over people, and all these Bill Gates and stories about chips were very similar. Also, what was interesting that I was joking when we were meeting our colleagues from Italy. I was telling them that I almost know everything about Italian fake news and disinformation, because we had some Georgians who immigrated in Italy. They were also bringing some Italian focused fake stories, and Georgian public was introduced to that kind of fake. And another very important thing that I've already mentioned is that, it's activism, right? I mean, they started, became more active and, engage some other parts actively, engage citizens and invite citizens to participate in this discussion. I think I will stop here, and if then, conversation comes around, I will add to it. Thank you.
We can talk for fake news hunters for days, but we have to wrap up. So if you want to say something and then close, then I will close the discussion.
Okay, I think it's so important what we are doing, right? This is a great, not only because what we are doing is important, but also the process itself is so interesting. Hunting in your countries and then sharing all this information and seeing the similarities and also differences and encouraging each other and having this understanding that, together we can change something for a better. This is a great drive that we have, and also it's a great collaborative project for students, because they are involved in these research activities. So please, we are open. This is a great project, and I will invite all our colleagues to join this wonderful collaboration. Thank you, Erasmia, for for your time.
Thank you very much. As you can all understand, it's very thrilling. We are very enthusiastic about this project because it connects all of us. Before we close, I would like to show you some numbers. I don't know if it is very easy to share my PowerPoint for once more. Thank you, Tiko. I was very sad for you not coming to Greece. So
next time, I'm sure.
Next time, yes. So let's see some numbers. We're 4 countries until now. Some countries are pending, has shown interest. I wish that some of you will show interest and join us. So we have 6 published reports, that is in a 5-week time. Every report is in a 5-week time. We have studied 140 profiles and analyzed them. We have studied research, dig a lot in social media. So 5.5K social media posts have been detected. And we have a 4.5K reach on Facebook for the post related to fake news hunters. So I'll give you the floor to Diana if she wants to say something, and then I'll close with a quote that is very, very important. So just wait for a moment and we will wrap up.
Just a short conclusion before we wrap up. The idea is that, as you have seen probably from, because a lot of you have contact with this information, the disinformation teams are very well coordinated and organized. They don't have borders. You have the same narratives from one part of the globe to another part of the globe, so they know what they're doing. We, on the other side, are sometimes very fragmented, focused on a certain country or a certain area because we have funds for a certain part of the world, or our projects and interests take us there. So the biggest advantage of this project is that it shares information between different countries. It puts the information together, and then you start seeing patterns, and then you start to understand how they work. And in order for us to improve, we have to understand how they improve and try to keep up, because as Tiko said, they are getting better and better at this, and we are sort of stuck in this situation of just being amazed of how effective they are. So looking forward for new colleagues in this, and thank you so much. Erasmia, you have the floor.
I need to go to the last slide. I would like to thank all the teams, all the participants. Some are here, they are watching us. I'm very thankful. They are doing a great research, a great job. No, the last one. We must skip that. So we will end up by saying something that is very, very important, and it's very important comparing to the DCN Global work and potential. That was for vaccinations. If a pandemic was the fake news superstar during 2020, vaccinations and anti-vaccination fake news, yes, this one, was the superstar. Vaccines were the superstar in fake news for 2021. So what is important is that quote: fake news trolling, disinformation, and skilled advocacy re-socialize a high influence the offline world. So keep that in mind, that anything happens in the digital sphere is highly influence the real sphere, our real lives. So that's why digital communication network is so important. Thank you all so much for your attendance.
Thank you so much, Erasmia, and also to the whole team that has been working on this project. I think it's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us virtually. We appreciate your time. I think the other lady's already caught her flight, so we didn't really get to say goodbye. So now we're going to go into, I think our teams have set up at the back. Yes, so the disinformation team is set up at the back, and it's now time for us to shift into that area. So as soon as we have gone that side, we will then go straight into lunch, and we will reconvene here at 2 o'clock. But as I did yesterday, I'll come and I'll remind you that it's time to come back So, Erasmia, would you like to share a little?
Yes, I would like to share a little bit about the Disinformation project. All of the grid tables are with people from Disinformation hubs, and they can show you their jobs, their projects. So feel free to visit them and hang out with them and ask them questions about their projects in Disinformation field. Thank you so much. We are moving back.